The first category of software we're going to discuss is application software. That's the software you're familiar with, the one you've installed on your phone or computer, and the one you probably use on a daily basis. So, application software refers to the programs that are installed and used by the user to carry out everyday tasks, the stuff you care about. So, it could be writing documents, browsing the web, playing video games. Those are all examples of application software. So, some other categories could be like word processors, music and video players, social media apps. Again, pretty much anything you use on a daily basis. So synonyms for application software are software, end user software, applications, apps, programs, application program, executable. These are all synonyms used in technical talk, right, to refer to application software. When we're talking about that other category of software, system software, again, that's like the DNA of the computer. We're going to typically call that operating system or throw that word system in front of software. If we don't, we're typically talking about application software. Here on the right, we can see some examples of applications, apps that we might find on our phone or computer. So, two main categories of software, just like we've hinted in the previous slide, is mobile software and desktop software. So, remember, desktop is a type of computer that sits on your desk. It could also fall under PCs, right? That includes laptops as well. So, pretty much actual computers. So, that's desktop software. Now, if you're installing apps on your phone, we call that mobile software or mobile apps. So, if you want to create mobile apps, you'd be a mobile app developer. So those are programs again that run on your phone. I highly recommend that any apps that you have on your computer, you also get on your phone. So if you like Google Docs on your computer, download it on your phone. That way you can edit your documents from anywhere as long as you have an internet connection. Yeah, most apps these days have some kind of mobile counterpart, which will let solve or execute whatever task you're trying to do on the go. That's the convenience, right, of the smartphone. Two other categories, or I should say one other category of software is installed versus cloud software. So two classifications here in this category. So installed software is software that you save directly to your computer. It's taking up space in your computer storage. So installed software, back in the day, you'd grab a CD or some kind of physical drive, plug it into your computer, wait for it to install. Nowadays, you can just install pretty much anything from the internet. But if it's taking up space in your computer, whether it came from a CD, USB, or the internet, if it's taking up space and installed directly on there, that's installed software. Now, there is a category of software these days because of the advent of the internet where you don't have to install it to your computer. It's not going to take up any additional space there. As long as you have an internet connection, you can run that software directly from the internet. And that's why we have G Suite here on the right. All these apps are cloud software. No longer called G Suite, called Google Workspace. But yeah, all these apps, as long as you have internet connection, you can use them and you don't actually have to install them onto your computer. So very, very user friendly, right, to use cloud software. Of course, even Microsoft Office these days does have cloud versions of Word, PowerPoint, Excel, etc. But I still prefer the Google Workspace over a lot of these Microsoft Office apps, as you'll hear me say throughout the class. So, what makes software easy to use, right? How do we interact with it? Well, we interact with the user interface. I've used that term quite a bit. We're actually going to take a look at what it means. And the more familiar we become with these different software interfaces, the better we are going to be at learning new ones. The better we are going to be at using computers, and the more comfortable we're going to feel learning new things. So UI or user interface is a part of the software or system that users interact with directly. So for software, that's going to be the buttons, the menus, the icons, all of the things you can see on the screen that make it easy to interact with the app. Sometimes it has too many visual elements, right? That's kind of one of my critiques of, for example, Microsoft Word, too many buttons. So that user interface, in my opinion, is not user friendly. The best user interfaces, right, are easy to use. Yeah, so they should be designed to be easy, intuitive for users to learn and control that program. So good UI design improves the user experience by making tasks simpler, faster, and easier to perform. We're going to discuss that there's actually roles for every step of the software process. There's a role that just involves designing the screen. So not even creating those buttons, but just deciding where that button should go. What color should that button be? What shape should it be? That's actually an actual job in the tech industry. We're going to discuss all of that once we get to software systems in the class. So one important component that we're going to see quite a bit is menus. A menu is a list of options or commands that a user can choose from. So menus are your friend. They're going to help you find the feature or function of that app that you need. So it'll help you navigate through lots of different functions and features. Usually they're categorized right into different menu tabs. File, for example, is going to have all your file options. The insert's going to let you insert different types of media if you're on a word processor. Something to remember, especially if you have your mouse, if you have your trackpad on your laptop, a little bit different. If you're on a phone, that's not even going to apply to you. But for most interfaces, if you do a right click, as you can see here, you'll get a menu. So right click, when in doubt, when you're in trouble, when you don't know what to do, try right clicking. And it's going to open a context specific menu. What that means is depending on where you're at, where you clicked, which software you're running, you're going to get a different menu. Right now, I am on Google Chrome to actually see the slides. So I do get this Google Chrome menu here where I can do different things. So yeah, when in doubt, do a right click and you'll see some kind of menu at pretty much most of the software that we'll learn in the class. So here on the right, you can see the file menu on Google Docs. It's going to have all your important file functions like downloading, making a copy of the document, a little hint for, the rest of the class basically. If you're working on a lab assignment, a practice assignment, and it's on Google Docs, make a copy of it. That way you don't have to reinvent the whole document. You can just go in there and make changes to the one that I made. Of course, if you forget how to do this right, you can always Google it. Something we'll discuss in the internet section. Another important software interface element or component is a toolbar. So this one's going to have a collection of icons or buttons. So slightly different than a menu. Toolbars are typically horizontal, menus typically vertical. It's the same idea though. It's going to give you quick access to commonly used commands, functions. It is faster than menu because typically toolbars are permanently there unless you hide them. Menus, you actually have to go find them, right, or click somewhere to pull them up. So yeah, toolbar is extremely useful. Here we have the example of the home toolbar in Microsoft Word. Again, a good interface should be simple, easy to use. I would say this interface can feel a little overwhelming for beginners.